In her book, The Sacred Prostitute, Eternal Aspect of the Feminine, psychoanalyst Nancy Qualls Corbett praised sacred prostitution as an expression of female sexuality and a bridge between the latter and the divine, as well as a rupture from mundane sexual degradation. The sacred prostitute did not make love in order to obtain admiration or devotion. She did not require a man to give her a sense of her own identity. Rather, this was rooted in her own womanliness. That's pimp talk. That's pimp talk, baby. You need to rupture from your mundane sexual degradation. You want to be a square out there? Come to the temple and sell your body for God. It's divine pimping, baby. It's an expression of your female sexuality. You're not making love in order to obtain admiration or even money. You're doing it for the glory of God, for the divine aspect of your womanliness, girl. And so the modern feminists echo the propaganda of the old pimps in the temple thousands and thousands of years ago. Isn't that fascinating? How can sacred prostitution be rooted in her own womanliness when the prostitute doesn't own a damn thing? She doesn't own the temple Isis. She doesn't own the temple Inanna. She doesn't even own herself. She's a sex slave used by the priests, raped by pimps at a young age, taught how to be a prostitute. How do you think they teach young girls how to be prostitutes? These sickos. Nancy Qualls Corbett finds it a-okay for little girls to be sold into sex slavery in a society where they have absolutely no power. Nancy Qualls finds that empowering. and that these prostitutes did this because it's rooted in their own womanliness, rather than the fact that they were sold as sex slaves as children. This opinion is shared by several schools of modern paganism, among them Wicca, for whom sacred prostitution, independently from its historical backing, embodies the sacralization of sex and a celebration of the communion between female and male sexuality. What the fuck does that sentence that I read just mean? Independently from its historical backing. So it's just going to mean whatever we want it to mean. It has no basis in the reality of what this so-called sacred prostitution actually was, which is a bunch of sex slaves getting pimped by a war machine who wanted to use their female bodies to make men fight war for them. And the lies continue to this day. As you can see, modern views. They call this modern views, but really it's the ancient views. They're giving you the ancient propaganda that they literally gave the people in Samaria. The same propaganda that they gave to those people, convincing them to sell their daughters to be prostitutes who have to have sex with any rando who comes into the temple. And this illustrates for me why prostitution is wrong on the most basic fundamental level, because the purpose of life is supposed to be having and raising healthy children. And yet, what kind of life do the children of prostitutes have? What kind of status in society do they really have? What kind of fathers do the children of prostitutes have? So nothing has changed. Right now, in this section of Modern Views on Sacred Prostitution, you are reading the same propaganda that was used to help poor families give their daughters to be prostitutes in the temple. And when I say nothing has changed, this is a video